I have been asked a few times now to make a video on how to use the iPad with the Modx. This means, for example, Piano Tag or Korg Modul. Since I haven't installed Piano Tag yet, I want to start with Korg Modx Pro today. I would just like to show you what you need to do to use the iPad with the Modx without an additional interface. That means we have now connected our iPad here on the left side with a USB-C to USB-B cable. This goes in the back, and with that, we have implemented both the audio connection and the MIDI connection. When I play here now, you first see my template program with a timbre. This is the sync sound that you are hearing right now and what you also see up here. It's already showing some activity. Here, velocity, there, output, but no sound is coming out yet. If I now turn off the local here and click up here, then nothing happens at first. That's because the channel is not sending. So what do we need to do first? First, we go into the utility menu, go to MIDI input, output, and take a look at it. This up here, MIDI in out. It must be set to USB on so that it sends out MIDI via USB. If you connect the controller to USB-A, it's not important because MIDI signals always come in there. But for USB-B, as you can see, it's important. Something comes in there, nothing comes in there. Hopefully you saw that up here. So these are the first two important things. Then you don't need to do anything here. This is only, even though it says transmit and receive, it's only for song, play, start, stop. I would leave MIDI clock off here and initially set MIDI sync to internal. So my Modx is the main carrier there. Here under Advanced Zone Master, we should switch that to on. MIDI I/O. That's not important for now because it's only about how the Modx is controlled and not about how it sends something out. Now let's check the settings of the Korg module to see what's happening there. And we see Bluetooth MIDI scan. We don't need to do that. Sync mode, internal. We would now set that to external because we want the Modx to handle it. MIDI channel omni, I don't want that, for example. This isn't too critical here because I can set which channel it sends on. But I like it when it's fixed. And I'll just take it here. Channel 8. No, channel 9. Now let's go to advanced settings again. We enter the settings. Audio latency, background audio. Okay, we don't need any of that. Let's do it. Let's stay in here. So now we've set the MIDI channel, and now you can also see up here. Nothing is coming in anymore. Before we deal with the audio part, I would do the following again. We are now going to edit. I'll just check if I have my pen ready, so no one tells me again that my big finger is in the way. Then we are here on part 1 common, go under zone settings, zone transmit. We can't set anything there now. If we go to zone settings and turn zone on, we can now set which channel it sends on, specifically channel 9. The first timbre and voila. It sends up there again. What I can do here now is enter a note limit for this external area. If I set it to this C here, for example, then something is sent down here in the upper area. No longer, but nothing is played there either. So the note limit is for the entire sound, which I actually find a bit curious because I have the settings there once and I would have expected that you really only make the external sound here. Apparently that's not the case. If I do an octave shift here now, it also refers to my internal sound again. I could now exactly turn off the zone, which we don't want, internal switch. This now means that it is only controlled externally. So this is basically similar to my local control. Now, of course, I've gone too far again. We are now on channel 9 and controlling both sounds. If I open keyboard control here now, it doesn't control anything anymore. If I mute here, it still sends out a signal. And if I only want the external sound, then I click here. On, off. Now I only have the external sound. That means I've basically made an external timbre out of it here. But now we still don't hear anything. Why don't we hear anything yet? That's relatively simple. We have up here on the top left, you see that? No, I don't think so. I'm just out of the picture. I would just tilt the camera a bit. Even then it's hard to see. Then I'll move my iPad over a bit. When we adjust the volume there, And next to it we have USB, volume and monitor. I'll play now. Now, this is now the sound from the iPad. I'll leave it turned all the way up now. Move it back a bit so we can see the monitor fully here, and I would just select a different sound here, like E-piano, for example. This is now very quiet, probably because I'm not loud here. This could also be due to my Modx. I've already mentioned that the sound outputs are causing some problems, and that I need to address that again. The audio. So here we have to the pad. So now we have both. Now we have the iPad, so the head module controlled via channel 9. For example, now I could add another timbre here. Let's just call it, well, if you just say piano, if I mute it, nothing happens. If I disable keyboard control there, now I only have my Modx. And when I turn it back on, I have my pad with it. Can also hear. So I can't influence the volume through that. I have to do that via MIDI volume. And actually, he should do that. That's curious again. Transpose like that, he does, as you hear. The Willy wanted, he doesn't do it now. Maybe because I did something. I can't say off the top of my head, I would have to look at it again. But we've already seen how we make the connection here. It could actually be due to the module not recognizing it. We can address something else again. What we can also do here is, in this timbre, we can send a bank select and an MSB and LSB and a program channel. For that, of course, you need to know which MSB and LSB they are. I just quickly Googled again. It's actually not that simple. So you can definitely find out the corresponding values and, if necessary, work backwards by switching here and seeing what signals come out. You can definitely manage that. Theoretically, you could also switch here if you know the MSB, the LSB, and the program channel, then you can do it there. Okay. Like this. Now it also adjusts the volume if you pay attention. MIDI send must, of course, also be on. And then it switches here as well. I can also save the volume of my individual with it. Now I could just try to see what happens. Something happens there. Oh, indeed, it switches. So I randomly hit something that fits and is still there. With that, it also switched. You have seen it is really quite simple because the iPad, especially in the new version, if you have one with Lightning, you will, of course, need the camera connection kit. You plug it in, it immediately recognizes the Yamaha interface. You turn up the USB volume and bam, it's there. And then you can bring it in. What I would personally recommend to you is not to use a single app. That works, as you can see. I could also open the Model D here again. And now I would just go back to my basic template. There you hear mine again. Okay, it just overloaded there. This is now my internal sound here. Nothing is coming through yet. Not again. And now I put the pen down again. Please excuse me. Zone off, or rather zone on. We'll leave it here for now. Let's take channel 9 again. Still nothing coming through. Why? Because I haven't told the Model D anything yet. We're going up here now. Settings on the Model D. Then here under MIDI. Then we see Modx connection 123 network session. Input channel is Omni. You can leave it like that. I would now also set input channel to 9 again. Select 9 again as well. And I hope that input channel 1 is the right one. I actually sometimes make mistakes there too, but I think 1 is the right one in this case. We don't need the output. But here you can also decide how it sends and how it connects. Now let's quickly go through it again. These are basic settings for the Model D. Configuration is audio. We can leave background audio on. Here, buffer I would... Oh, active buffer 4. Okay, why? Okay. It was already set to 64. I would leave it like that. Minimal, iOS, I would also leave that as it is for now. We had media, share, that's all stuff you don't need. So, and now it's not producing any sound. Why not? Okay, because it simply doesn't produce it sound-wise. You probably didn't hear that in the recording. I would just select a sound here now, specifically some lead sound. Just here. A brass. And then we see here that I have selected channel 8. Then it obviously can't run together with channel 9, of course. And then I can diligently turn. But now, once again, to return to what I said before, I wouldn't recommend playing with an app. Instead, I would get a host. There are several now. For example, I have Camelot on it. It works excellently for me. It makes more sense if you use the iPad to control it, because you can merge multiple apps without having issues. That means you set up a configuration on it, like you do on the Modx, and then you can simply control it, or you can even control the Modx from Camelot, which can also be a solution and is sometimes easier. But for now, you've seen how it works and that it works relatively easily. At least I hope so. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, write comments below. I would be really happy if you subscribe to the channel and also leave a like.